Back here up the third base line and joining us right now, one of the all-time great catchers, Mike Piazza. Mike, welcome aboard. Good to see you. How's everything?
Are you kidding me? Wait a second.
Come on. Just got off a boat with like 200 crazy Mets fans, so I'm a little punch drunk right now. You know?
Pizza.
You're like, get me up.
Yeah, I was like, no.
You know that. You don't got a boat. You get stuck.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it was fun. We had a great time getting over here. So, yeah, excited about the game. We need to put a victory up.
What do you think of this season, Mike, from what you've seen in these Mets, from the way they started to where they look right now?
Yeah, well, the fact in the beginning, obviously, the offense was a big issue, and obviously Cespedes coming in, but just the way they came together as a team. And we were talking about, it's funny, when they say, is there any similarities between 2000 and this team? I said, absolutely none whatsoever. They're a lot more talented than we are.
But I wonder.
Yeah, I was like, is there any similarities? I go, absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
these guys are like studs. We were like losers.
So, you know what? All right, so let's have a little fun here. You got the three front guys with the stuff that they possess.
Yeah.
Harvey DeGrom and tonight Syndergaard. How would you be able to handle a guy or all three in knowing what their strengths and weaknesses are? And I'm saying this because this lineup, the Kansas City lineup, they hit fastballs. And there was much discussed about perhaps Harvey changes repertoire based on an opposing team's strengths and weaknesses. How did you go about calling your games?
Well, I mean, as you mentioned, I think the problem is in this day and age, sometimes you get paralysis from analysis. I mean, you just get so much input, there's so much information that you just forget to go out and execute and stay with your strengths. And you know as well as anybody, I mean, sometimes it's not what you put on a pitch, it's what you take off. So I just remember there's nothing better than a really good, well-placed changeup or a nice off-speed curveball, and especially a team like Kansas City. I mean, they took it to us. I mean, they definitely took them right out and were aggressive and fight off the tough pitches and. You know, learn from a guy like Maddox. I mean, don't be afraid of contact. You know, if they're going to swing the bats, give a good sinker off, you know, expand the strike zone ahead and take your ground ball. And I think sometimes when we're players, we try to do too much and try to, you know, get it all back in one swing or try to strike everybody out, and that's just not possible.
All right. I know big-time catcher I don't care, you roasted bombs. That was your are you kidding me?
I could square some stuff up
every now and then. All right, so you're Dano Ventura tonight. Big cheese, overhand curveball. What is Mike Piazza's game plan going into tonight?
For me, shrink the strike zone. You know, I got to get that guy over the plate. And you see with Cespedes a little bit, a couple of pitches over the plate, he's kind of jamming himself because he's trying to hit the ball 900 feet. And for me, it's like, dude, you're a stud. You're strong. Just get the ball in the barrel of the bat. You know, don't try to do too much. And I think that anxiety where we feel like we got to reach down and do something extraordinary, it may just be a broken bat, you know, base hit to right field to get you going, a walk. And I watched Huerta the other night. I mean, he was expanding the strike zone nicely. I mean, you got to give him a lot of credit. And that's the thing. As a hitter, you got to say, hey, it's 2-0. I may not get a strike 2-0. And just because it's 2-0, like all of a sudden I'm geared and I'm cheating to that ball, and you're not going to get it all the time. And that's what he did. Sinker off the plate, cutter away. Bring him over the plate and let the next guy take a walk.
All right, so obviously it's a lot harder than said.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so
a lot harder.
Is it based no, but is it based on the you mentioned about the anxiety and the crowd and the atmosphere and all that? How does a hitter bring it all back to, as you say, make the strike zone shrink?
It's just center yourself. And slow the moment down. I mean, you know, it's sometimes we just get in a situation where we're so anxious and we're trying to do too much. Take a walk, you know, get a strike, and that's the biggest thing is don't help out the pitcher. And you know, again, like KC's got some quality arms, and they're going to go after you too. And so you just have to try to rise to the occasion, focus, get back to basics, and sometimes it's the little things, you know, it's the little things that will get you going. And so I hope that's the case tonight.
You're throwing out the first ball.
Yeah.
You're standing on the pitcher's rubber.
I'm cheating, by the way. I'm not going on the rubber.
Why?
I was like going on the rubber.
Stand on the pitcher's
I didn't throw on the rubber when I
catch this guy. I rode over in a car today. He was like all over me. He's jabbing me, punching. How did you deal with this guy?
Talking about?
No,
First off, No, first off, I don't go on the pitcher's rubber. Like Harvey, last time I threw out, I think Harvey was pitching. I'm not going to go on his rubber, dude. He's already like getting it's sacred ground.
So you have a world-class arm.
This is the anniversary of 9/11 when the president came up and did the fist bump.
Yeah, well, he's a president. He can do whatever he wants.
Talk about that, Holmes.
I'm going to call G.W. Bush. Like, what are you doing on the mound?
I know it's World Series time, but I was there. I was early in my career. I was sitting on the bench, and you hit that dramatic homer, first game back after 9/11. What were you thinking, running around the bases? I mean, in our dugout, Atlanta Braves dugout, Bobby Cox was applauding. It was your moment.
I mean, that was a moment that just transcends, baseball. It's not about baseball. It's about just life and death and family and love. And I can't, to be honest with you, I'm a little bit uncomfortable when people put that in perspective and try to say it's something heroic. It really wasn't something heroic. I was just blessed that I got a lot of people behind me, and I was able to reach down and pray and get calmness and execute. Talking about we were executing as an athlete, but I mean, again, for me, I'll be totally blunt. I'm uncomfortable when people say it was a heroic. It was me, and I was blessed to have executed in that situation. But putting that whole week in perspective, for me, I feel like it was minuscule for some of the heroism that went on that week. So I feel uncomfortable a little bit when people, bring it up all the time. But the fact that it did kind of create a little bit of a healing start is which makes me feel good about it.
Well, we know you did an awful lot there afterwards too, with fans and people who were affected by that. So we're aware of that as well.
That.
Listen, during that time, it's amazing because you had a great career before you even came to the Mets. You were like 29 years old when you came over.
Yeah.
What struck you as eventually became very beloved as a Met? It happened pretty quickly. But what about the fan base? What is it like becoming a Met? And what do you remember when you came over here as an established star?
I think it was very unique because, and I'll tell you, coming up in New York, it's really tough for the fans here to embrace someone that it doesn't come up through the organization, especially as free agency evolved. And so I think with the Yankees and the Mets, they were used to bringing guys in that maybe didn't do what they were expected to do. So I was kind of in that boat being traded. And I think at the first fans didn't want to embrace me, and I didn't know if I wanted to embrace them because I didn't know if I was going to be here. And then a calmness came over me, and I said, you know what, it's meant to be. It was a tough situation leaving the Dodgers, but I was here, and I said, I'm meant to be here for a reason. I got to see it through. So after the season, I knew, whatever it was, I knew I was going to be here.
You remember our scatter report? His first game, he's late from the airport. He's coming over from LaGuardia. I'm already done warming up. He comes up through. He goes, what do you got? I said, just put down a 3. I got a lot of cutters. That was his first game.
It was bizarre. I'm getting off the plane. It's like an hour before the game. It was like just pure adrenaline. But, we had a fun time, and we had a good bunch of guys. As you know, chemistry is so important, and we had a blast. And I had so many people help me in New York, you and Johnny and all the guys that so I didn't feel like I was like this exposed guy, we had a lot of fun on the road, and all those things are important to have success.
Did you think this place would rock like Shea? Because we didn't know until this year, getting huge games.
I gotta tell you, at first I wasn't impressed. I was like, it's new, and Shea had character and rats and, sewage. First day, opening day, 99, there's 2 inches of sewage, and I was like, what the hell did I do? I went back to LA to the beach. It sucks, man. But and then it grows on you. It's like Todd Pratt. It's not much, boys, but it's home. Like a homeless guy, right? It's just bad. But I was concerned because with the stadium and the field was kind of nondescript. It was like the old San Diego. Remember the double wall? Yeah. Guys couldn't go over the wall and steal a home run. It was like, too big. And so I kind of like it now. I think it's got some character now. The fans have grown into it, and hey, it's like a new pair of shoes. It's not going to feel good.
It is. It's big.
Yeah.
But now when you fill it up,
got to break it in. Got to break it in. Now it's home.
Ready.
And so, I think this year was a big christening for it. And fans are happy here. The energy was insane, so it's all good.
All right, Mike, good luck. You're really not going to stand on the mound? You're going to walk up front?
No way.
You're a Hall of Fame player. Come on, man.
Mike Piazza.
I haven't thrown a ball in like 8 months.
He gets to do what he wants.
I got scar tissue. I don't have a body. I got scar tissue holding my bones together. You got to hear the snaps and cracks.
Best of luck. I'm sure you'll be fine. Don't give him a hard time.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mike.
Enjoyed
Mike
it.
Piazza.